Chet, the approach that you guys had playing the same team in back-to-back games, what'd you make of the way that you guys were able to come out and be the aggressors for most of the night?
Yeah, we knew that they were going to game plan and change some things and kind of try to react to our defense and see where they could, gain some advantages. So, we really tried to just come out with energy and muck the game up and not give them consistent looks, active hands, make everything tough. And I feel like we did a good job of, forcing turnovers and, creating 50-50 plays that we could win. I feel like there were some stretches we could still be better in, coming out of the half. We can definitely clean that up. And then some of the rebound and stuff too, but overall, good game for us.
In general, coming out of the half, since the All-Star break, you guys have been really great defensively. From a attention to detail standpoint or just preventing slippage standpoint, what stands out to you about the way you've defended in the second half as a team?
Credit to everybody. The coaches giving us good adjustments at halftime, and the players that step on that court. Not only the first five, but the guys who sub in that third quarter too. Everybody's ready to roll. Obviously we can always be better, like tonight, but I feel like everybody's kind of locked in at all moments.
Chet, you mentioned right after the break that you felt the days off, that you had kind of come back fresh. Has that carried on for you? You're shooting the ball awfully well since the break.
We're definitely not going through January again, so yeah, I feel pretty good.
And then we're at about the last 30 games or so. Shai's shooting around, he's over 40% from three. 4 tonight is his season high. If he's making threes consistently, what does the defense do with him?
It seems like he gets to that little step back a lot, but he also uses it to fake too. He'll kind of stutter at you and then flip his hips and go too. So it's really hard not to respect the drive, but when he's making it at the clip that he's making that step back at, and even catch and shoot threes too, it's really tough. I'm not going to sit here and try and tell people how to stop it. They got to figure it out. So.
Chet, the other night you mentioned that you're not going to chase shots and heat checks and things like that. Is that the same mentality defensively? Is there ever a temptation to sort of chase after blocks that you feel like you could get that might not be the best for defensive possession?
Well, if I think I can get a block, I'm going to go get it. But if I think it's going to put me out of position where it's going to end up hurting us as a defense, then I'm going to try not to put us in that position. Obviously, things happen quick. Decisions aren't always, correct. The other team might read what I'm doing and react to that. So there's a lot of factors, but a lot of it's just read and react and try to make the right play.
You mentioned the team being locked in right now. What has it been like being on a team where the communication is not only open but honest and everyone can be accountable?
It's great. I don't think anybody wants to go to work with coworkers who aren't one, doing their job, and two, enjoyable to be around. And that's the environment that we have, not just the players, but the coaching staff, the support staff, the front office. Everybody enjoys coming to work, and we all have one goal in mind. So it makes it easy to key in on what we need to do.
Can you walk me through the alley-oop to Gordon Hayward?
Yeah, man. My lobs were terrible in the Rising Stars game, so I had to lock in and figure it out. When I threw it, I thought it was going over the backboard, and it ended up being almost short, but it's 2 points. So,
Justin. Hey, Chet, I want to ask you about Lou. Just what does it say about him on a night where shots aren't falling? He's still able to have a defensive impact. I think he held Freddie to, I think it was 5 points tonight. Just what does that say about him?
That's the tales of a high-level competitor. Not letting one thing affect the rest of their game, and that's something that Lou brings every night. He brings all defensive level defense, intensity. He makes a lot tough for a lot of guys. And I was in the boat with him too. I was missing some putt shots out there, but I feel like everybody on the team does a great job of knowing what we have to do and knowing that it's not going to be perfect, so not letting one thing affect the other.
Gallo, OKC Thunder. Shai, no two games in a mini-series are going to be exactly the same. What do you think were maybe some different keys tonight that you guys were able to take care of compared to the game a couple nights ago?
Yeah, I think we brought physicality from the jump tonight. We didn't have our best offensive game, but we brought the fight to them from the beginning. And we were able to kind of get a lead and maintain the lead for most of the night because of it.
Now, 4 straight games coming out of the All-Star break where you haven't allowed the other team to score 50 points in the second half, all 4 times. Anything that you're noticing about the approach coming out of halftime and just how disciplined you've been on that end of the floor?
Yeah, we just know that's where we want to hang our hat every night. No matter what or how the ball's bouncing in and out the rim or what's going on, if we defend, we give ourselves a chance, and we know that. And when we're doing that in the first half, we try to continue to do so, and when we're not, Coach tells us, and we try to get back on track with that at halftime.
You mentioned the physicality. Mark the other night mentioned how you guys didn't start the game as physical as you wanted to. How much of a mindset was it for you guys as players on the floor to come out and bring the physicality to them instead of them bringing it to you guys?
Yeah, it was important. We know what type of team they are, and we had just beat them, so we knew they were going to come in hungry and try to impose their will on us and be physical. And we just wanted to match that off jump and not kind of get behind like we did last time we played them.
Shai, the last 30 games or so, you're up over 40% from 3. Any change in your approach there? Anything you did mechanically? Any difference?
Nah, I just keep shooting them, and they're going in.
Are you finding more of them? Are you seeking more of them?
I try to let the defense tell me what to do and try to shoot what I'm comfortable shooting. I work on them, and hopefully they keep going in, but I'm going to continue to work on them for sure.
We as journalists often ask you guys how you will continue the momentum when you have a win streak, but out of these last 6 games, what would you like to see continue with you all?
Just not to get complacent and continue to defend the way we have in these 6 games. When we do so, no matter where we go, who we play, we give ourselves a chance.
Hey Shai, John Chidley-Hill from the Canadian Press. I was at the Boys and Girls Club of Oklahoma City yesterday, and they were speaking really highly of you and all the things you've done for that organization. In particular, when you took about 15 kids on a shopping spree back in December. I'm curious, why did you choose to do that? Because, you know, it's a little more personal than just, you know, donating money to donate your time instead.
I just want to show the kids that this kind of figure or person who I am is not out of reach, and I'm an everyday person. I went through the same things they've gone through. For the most part, I've been a kid before. And when I was a kid, the NBA felt like it was a world away, like it was almost impossible, and I just don't want them to feel that way. So kind of being there and interacting with them is kind of something I wanted to do.
And I'm curious, how does Oklahoma City remind you, or how is it similar to Hamilton, Ontario?
It's a small town, quiet. It's kind of like a blue-collar city. People go to work, get their work done, and live their lives. A lot of hard-working people in both cities, I would say those things.
Michael and Justin. Shai, you guys are top 5 in steals, top 5 in blocks in the NBA. You and Chet are both top 6 in stocks, steals, and blocks combined. Mark said that it's not really a scheme thing, that you guys are going for that. Is that something that individually you feel like you're focusing on, or it's just sort of plays just sort of happening?
I think plays sort of happening. Chet obviously has a gift with protecting the rim. That's just his talent. And then we have a lot of guys that are good defenders with good hands, and we try to be disruptive defensively, and it works in our favor.
Shai, it seems like you guys really blew the game wide open in that third quarter there. I think you had like 9 of 11 points on a run there. Just how do you find that balance between letting the game come to you, but also realizing when you have the hot hand to just ride it like you did there?
Just take what the defense gives me and trust my work. There's moments, and you can feel it when you've got it going, and you should be aggressive. And there's also moments when you need your teammates and you gotta kind of play the game. But it's something that I notice and I try to work on every game, every day, and I've definitely gotten better at.
Hey,
Chet, talk a little bit about SGA. Talk a little bit about Chet's performance. Houston's coach said we shouldn't let Chet Holmgren push us around like he did tonight. Talk a little bit about what he did tonight.
Yeah, he was everywhere. He was on the boards, offensively, defensively. He was blocking shots. He was making plays. Just letting the game come to him. The kid's special. We've seen it all season long, and he just continues to be consistent. The sky's the limit for him.
Anybody else? We got one more in the front. Last one.
Shit, one more thing on the threes. Some people would say, well, the guy's scoring 31 points a game and shooting such a great percent. One more thing about the threes. Some people might say, like you're scoring 31 a game, you're shooting so efficiently. Why would you even need three-pointers? What's the advantage to you of getting some more of those?
Just making the defense pay for sagging. If it's a shot that they're giving me, being able to make it makes them guard me tighter, and then I can drive. And the playoff teams are going to throw different schemes at us, different schemes at me, and I want to be able to be comfortable and have seen it before and know how to attack it and take advantage of it when that time comes.
I don't know. Should I do it like this?
I can hold it while you're
Nah.
Go ahead, guys.
Nick Gallo, OKC Thunder. Jalen, you guys keep kind of having these new hurdles to have to clear, another one being these little mini-series with the Rockets. How do you feel like, as you look at the totality of the two games you guys handled going up against the same team twice, a team that hurt you guys pretty good the first time you saw them?
Yeah. We're trying to be a playoff team, and we take a lot of these like mini-series like really serious just because you're going to go into an environment where you got to play the same team over and over again. So we kind of use this as an opportunity to scout better and kind of just get used to playing a team back to back. And I thought we did a good job of kind of our prep and kind of being able to flip the page. Obviously, coming from Houston, there's a lot of things that we wanted to clean up, and I thought we did a good job kind of flipping the pages and kind of getting back to how we wanted to play.
After the game, Josh kind of credited Dave Bliss and the coaching staff for stuff at halftime. It's not a lot of time to talk about all sorts of defensive stuff, but are there things from a process standpoint that are consistent that you feel like are really valuable to really helping the defensive efforts in the second halves lately?
Yeah, a lot of it is physicality. I think when you can start the game out like that, it kind of sets the tone for the whole game. So they were harping on that to start the game. Like you said, you get really about like 4 minutes to really go over your whole scout and do that whole thing. So I think just helping the helper, coming out with energy, like stuff that we can control, things like that, being locked into the scout that we already had planned. So they do a good job kind of showing us clips in between, that 4 minutes to kind of get prepared to go out there and play the second half, completely different than how we did the first.
No, but Shai had 4 threes tonight. That's a season high. And the last 30 or so games, he's up around 45%. If he's making that shot, what do you do with him defensively?
I don't know. You got to ask somebody else. I'm on the team. I'm just cheering when it goes in. So I have no idea.
He talked about wanting to, playoff teams are going to throw different looks at you, and so if they're sagging, punishing them and that sort of stuff. What can it open up for you guys if he's taking that shot as well?
You have to respect it. Like you said, it's something that he works on. I watch him work on it all the time, so it's kind of no shock that it's going in, but he just kind of understands how teams are guarding him, and you got to live with something, and he's shooting it really well. So when you have to respect that part of his game, it just opens up the floor. You have to respect him and play him out there, and then we've seen him get to the rim and get to his mid-ranges and all those spots, so it makes it hard for him to guard, and teams are going to probably have to double or send 2 at him or give different looks, and then that's we're also, everybody else is kind of shooting the ball really well, so it just adds another dimension to our whole team.
So after the deadline, you talked about Gordon Hayward. Your first impression of him was that he was taller than you thought. Now that you've played a few games with him, do you have any other takeaways on his game or anything like that?
Yeah, really smart player. He's been really good for us defensively, which is hard to do to, middle of the season kind of plug in. Obviously, he hadn't even played. How long did he go without playing? Like a year?
Since Christmas.
Oh, yeah, okay. So since Christmas, not playing and being hurt to plug into a different team halfway through the year and still be able to understand our defensive rotations, kind of plug in where we need him to, and not really force anything on offense, kind of let him just come to him. Speaks a lot to his character and how he's been able to be successful in the NBA. So hopefully that's a better answer than he's taller than I thought.
Yes. And then you guys are top 5 in both steals and blocks. Mark said it's not really a part of your guys' scheme, that it's a lot of just personnel. How do you guys balance between being aggressive and going for those, but not necessarily like overstepping your defensive coverages and kind of stretching too far?
It's a thin line. You got to read how the game's being officiated. So, that comes with feel. A lot of it is just playing really solid defense, and then there's a luck aspect involved in it too, but usually, you want to play just really solid defense and kind of have them play on your terms, and then from there, it's just instinctual. You can jump gaps, be in a good position to get a block. I think a lot of our blocks are Chet too, so, that kind of helps. But, yeah, just being in the right position on a consistent basis, I think we can force turnovers and kind of have people play out of their rhythm.
You mentioned wanting to be a playoff team. Of this 6-game winning streak, what would you like to see continue with you all?
Winning. But, deeper than that, I think just kind of sticking together through the highs and lows of the season. We're just about that halfway point, a little over it. So just kind of doing the same stuff that we've been doing to win, kind of being consistent with our identity. There's going to be games we don't shoot well or, even play well, but I think just sticking together and kind of trusting one another through the whole process.
You seem pretty excited to get Bismack in the post game. Can you just tell me a little bit just about the post game, like getting around Gallo after the game, and just like the camaraderie around that, and like where did that come from, and like what were your thoughts on tonight?
I have no idea where that came from. I think just like one game we were joking around and we did it, and then it kind of just became a thing. But I think it's a good way to just keep the team motivated and happy, and it's just like, it's not like a scripted thing. Like, we're not going every game and like, oh, that's what we're gonna do. It's just kind of like how our team is, and we're close knit, and it kind of shows that nobody's like above anything. Everybody's in the break randomly, and it's just fun to kind of see how whoever's being interviewed reacts. I feel like Nick has fun. Do you have fun? Okay, yeah. So it's fun. It's just a fun little thing we do. Just shows how close we are. Like, it's not like a scripted thing. Like, we're going into games and we're like, all right, we're gonna do this every time. It's just random.
And then tell your thoughts on the late game tonight.
Oh, what time is it? It's like 1 a.m. I don't know. Hopefully Mahogany's still open.
Jalen, can you take us through your perspective of Chet's reverse dunk, and when you threw that lob, were you expecting that from him when you passed it?
I didn't think he was going to dunk it that way, but it was a perfect lob. I couldn't have thrown it any better, so I knew he was going to dunk it, but I think to reverse, and crazy, that was the best lob we've had so far, but yeah, like I said, it was a perfect lob. It would have been hard to mess up.
But you should probably have it there. You're at the top of that. Don't screw it up.
Okay. You all surpassed last season's win total tonight, 24 games left. Can you just kind of reflect on your 2 seasons and how different has this one felt to you?
Yeah, I think we just got closer as a team. And I thought that was going to be pretty hard to do from last year, just because, how good that group was. Yeah, I think we're kind of in a flow. Everybody's kind of accepting where they are with the team, and I think that's a really unique thing. We found ourselves pretty quick, and we kind of found out what works and what doesn't so far. So, and we're young, so I think that's really exciting. And, it kind of just shows improvement. I think that's what every NBA team wants, regardless of how the season is going. You don't want to look back at your season and see that you got worse. So the fact that we're able to improve and have this big of a jump is great, but obviously, we don't want to settle where we are right now, but it is nice knowing that we're getting better and, we're understanding each other a lot more.
Nick Gallo, OKC Thunder. Mark, your last 4 games since the All-Star break, you haven't allowed a team to score more than 50 points in the second half. What has it been about the way your team has responded at halftime to really have the right mindset and game plan heading into the second half?
Yeah, it's not just a halftime thing. I think we came out of the break, the great mentality. The guys did a great job during the break of taking the rest they needed, but also staying somewhat sharp and in rhythm and in shape. And we've caught a good, rhythm coming out.
And just want to ask you. You mentioned a couple days ago, sort of the growth mindset that there's no, place where you're going to have arrived. What are you seeing still from this team in terms of continued steps forward and more, potentially to come as well?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like, if you have a really good defensive game, we had a great defensive game tonight, you're back at the bottom of the mountain on whatever day it is that we play San Antonio, and you got to be able to replicate the physicality, the effort, the intensity, the attention to detail, awareness. So you're just never a complete team. The game's imperfect. There's always something you can improve on, and even the stuff that we're not deficient in, we have to sustain, which is really hard and requires a lot of focus and a lot of commitment. So that's our challenge as we continue to take on these different challenges in the season.
You mentioned the other night how you guys didn't come into the game physically as physical as you guys wanted. What did you think about how you guys came into the game tonight?
Pretty good. I thought we matched their physicality and exceeded it at times from the jump. I thought we did a really good job there. And as the game wore on, we got better. Our worst defensive quarter was the first quarter. And then we really tightened the screws in the second through the fourth. So we did a good job of having an awareness of the mentality of our opponent. We just played them. We just beat them on the road. So we knew they would come out with some force and with some energy. They did. And I thought we did a good job of handling that.
Anytime you hold a team under 110 nowadays, it's pretty good defense. You guys held them under 100 tonight. Seemed really, really active. How much of a mindset was it to make the game more messier than the other night?
Yeah, I thought, we were really physical tonight, and I thought we were really, really tight, in our coverages and our communication. We didn't give them much easy at all, and so made them earn everything, contested shots, scrapped for loose balls and rebounds, and, did a really good job on that end of the floor.
This is a pretty good sample of about the last 30 games where Shai's shooting it up over 40% from three. What's anything different there with his shot, his approach to it?
I mean, you can ask him. I'm not sure. He's finding them, which is nice because it gives him some gravity. You have to go play him. He's obviously a very good shooter, and when you have to respect that, and then with the way he can drive the ball, a couple of these plays in transition where he's coming down and they're picking him up high, and then he's just like one move by the guy. That's coming from the shooting gravity. So he's done a good job of mixing those in. It's obviously not his bread and butter. But he shoots good ones and is shooting them efficiently.
When you talk about that developmental mindset, and you're always talking about you haven't arrived at the destination, he's one of the best players in the league, and yet there's places still that he's finding these things.
For sure. I mean, everybody, and he's a craftsman. He's obsessed with improving, as many of our guys are. It's not limited to him, but yeah, I mean, he's obviously the threes. I think he's done a great job of being on the gas, in the actions most of the season. But, recently he's really hit it because teams are going to commit a third player to him on a lot of occasions. And so if he's not fast, he's going to be playing in a crowd. And so, yeah, he's improving. All of our guys are improving.
Mark, a lot of times when people talk about spacing, they just think of shooting, and Chet is doing that, but at the same time, he's added a lot of vertical spacing for you guys in your offense. Can you just talk about sort of the unique abilities that he has to do both, and how valuable it is to have that vertical spacing?
Yeah, I mean, there's more to spacing than just standing around on the perimeter. You want to put rim pressure, and we do that with driving, we do that with his rolls, and we do that with cutting. And so when you've got rim pressure from those three things, and then you've got active spacing on the perimeter around it, that's how you create dilemmas for the defense. And then when you willingly move the ball, in those situations, then you can create advantages and opportunities to maintain advantages.
Coach, we talked about Josh a little bit before the game, just how he's competing recently and how he's screening as well. Just what did you see from him tonight and his assertiveness, especially offensively, to start the game?
Yeah, it continues to mix his looks. Obviously they put Şengün on him at every opportunity. They've done that every meeting this year. And we're evolving, as a team in terms of understanding how to attack that. He's evolving in terms of making that part of his package. The circumstances have forced him to kind of, take a detour on his player development so that he can be effective against that scheme. And he's done a really, really good job. He's had a very open mind to it. He was in yesterday with K. Rich working on screening angles and getting out of screens, and that's certainly not what he was doing, his basketball upbringing. But he's taken a great approach to it. I have a lot of respect for that, and he's getting better as a result. We're getting better as a result.